because for Nico Williams, Barcelona, starting from this week, will push to reach an agreement with Nico on personal terms. And here we are, guys. Welcome back here on my channel. We have to touch on some points, on some of the latest on the transfer market, receiving many of your questions. And I would start with Dani Olmo. I see MP1 mentioning that, while we will touch on Alvaro Morata, on Yoro, and something else to explain to you. Today we have a quick chat, but still an interesting and good chat with all the latest. But let me start with Dani Olmo, because the release clause of Dani Olmo expires on July 20, not on July 15. So it's not expiring today, but it's going to expire almost at the end of this week. What does it mean? That there is still plenty of time for clubs to enter the race for Dani Olmo. We are hearing rumors about Bayern. If you're following me, you remember that already in May and in the recent weeks, I always told you that Dani Olmo is part of the shortlist at Bayern. But for that position, the creative offensive player, the priority target for Bayern is Xavi Simons. In case Xavi Simons decides to go to another club, with Leipzig also pushing, Dani Olmo could be an option for Bayern. He's part of the shortlist. So this is the situation around Dani Olmo. We had reports over the weekend of Dani Olmo going to Manchester City. I'm told this is not true. Manchester City are not negotiating for Dani Olmo. Manchester City have appreciated Dani Olmo for years, already last summer, 2 years ago, always showing the appreciation for Dani Olmo, but they are not negotiating for Dani Olmo. He's not part of the shortlist in this moment of the market. It's still July, but Man City today are not negotiating for Dani Olmo, are not in the market for Dani Olmo. And then, important to say that we had new rumors about Chelsea and Dani Olmo, but Chelsea believe that for that position, so the left-footed quality offensive player, they are very well covered for present and future, because they have, obviously, Cole Palmer, but they also have Noni Madueke, they will have Kendry Páez, they will have Willian Estevao, so Chelsea don't want to sign that kind of player. Chelsea are not in the market, again, today, for Dani Olmo, despite the links. So that's the situation for Olmo. Then I wanted to say something. I see many questions from Milan fans on Alvaro Morata. Guys, Alvaro Morata will be a Milan player. It's just time to wait for the formal steps now. But as we say today, is here we go soon, in the sense that Milan will trigger the release clause for Alvaro Morata. There is no doubt about that. So Atletico Madrid never considered to negotiate for Alvaro Morata. The release clause is there. Is a very good release clause in terms of price, 13 million euros. And so AC Milan will go there, pay the clause, and sign Alvaro Morata on a 4-year contract. So it's just time to proceed with the formal steps. But Morata will be the new striker of Milan. The contract is ready. Medical test will also take place before holidays. And then Alvaro Morata will become the new striker of Milan. Milan want to sign one more striker, and we said over the recent days about Tammy Abraham as one of the strong options for Milan. Let's see if they can reach an agreement for Tammy Abraham as new striker. And then also important to mention other situations for Milan: Pavlovic, the centre-back, and Youssouf Fofana, the midfielder. Milan have the agreement with the two players and negotiating with the clubs. So step by step, the first one will be Alvaro Morata. Fidget asking about Osimhen and Chelsea. My friend, at the moment, as I always told you, on Osimhen, on all the players that will link to Chelsea, Chelsea will not pay crazy money, 120 million euros, 12 million euros salary net. This is something that Chelsea will not do. So if the conditions of the deal for Osimhen will be different in maybe some weeks or something like that, we will see. But as of today, Chelsea will not go for Osimhen at crazy conditions. Is same with Olise, same with other players. Chelsea would only do these deals if the request is going to be different, if the package is going to be different. So this is the situation. Mason Greenwood at Olympique Marseille. Sasha, Marseille are still waiting to agree on terms with the player. Marseille have an agreement with Manchester United already since last week, but still not agreed on terms with the player. They are negotiating. The same for Riccardo Calafiori. Ajet asking about Calafiori, but Arsenal and Bologna still don't have an agreement on the package, on the fee. Why? Because Bologna want 50 million euros guaranteed, because they have to give 50% of the deal to Basel. Arsenal at the moment are offering an important package, but with the dons included, not 50 million euros guaranteed. So this is the problem, this is the issue, and there is still no agreement. Negotiations are still ongoing between Arsenal and Bologna. Calafiori is waiting for Arsenal. Calafiori wants to go to Arsenal. Now depends on the two clubs again. Then I will clarify something in a minute on Lenny Yoro and Nico Williams. We have this quick live today, so I will try to answer as many questions as possible. Then we will be together again here on Playback in the next days. Ederson, I see the question. Today, guys, exclusive story, but Manchester City received the first proposal from Al Nassr for the Brazilian goalkeeper Ederson. The proposal was 30 million euros. Man City will not let the player leave for less than 50-60 million euros. This is what Manchester City want for Ederson. So negotiations are ongoing. The player is keen on the move to Saudi, but still no agreement between clubs for Ederson. So this is a crucial step. Let me clarify that if Manchester City will sell Ederson in the summer transfer window, Man City will still continue with Stefan Ortega as first goalkeeper. Andrea asking about Fulkrug. For Milan, at the moment, my friend, I'm still told Morata priority and then negotiations for Tammy Abraham. Let's see if they will go for someone else. But these are the two priorities for Milan in this moment. Then, Simek and Liverpool. I see many questions on this one. This is a rumor we had today from Germany. What I can tell you is that Liverpool people in charge, so people in the board of Liverpool, have been tracking and know very well Mo Simek. They have been following the player and they believe he's a very talented defender. At the moment, there are no concrete negotiations between the agents of Simek and Liverpool or Liverpool and Leipzig. So this is the situation. But I can confirm that he's one of many centre-backs they've been tracking. Then let me see. Any PSG news? My friend, we wait for PSG to decide on Désiré Doué. Paris Saint-Germain are in the mix for Désiré Doué, with Bayern also pushing. So these two clubs are really, really insisting. I told you APL Daily about Victor Osimhen. At the moment, is not something advanced or concrete. So this is the situation. And on Osimhen, keep always an eye on Paris Saint-Germain, because if a center striker is going to leave Paris Saint-Germain this summer, there could be a possibility for Victor Osimhen to be on their shortlist. So this is the situation for Osimhen. For Chelsea, only if the price will be different. Matias Soulé to Leicester. Leicester are pushing for Matias Soulé. Leicester are pushing on both player and club side. They know that Roma are insisting on player side, and player is attracted by Roma, but Leicester are not giving up. Leicester are in negotiation with Juventus, and Juventus prefer to sell the player abroad than selling the player in Italy. So Leicester keep pushing for Mati Soulé. Fabrizio, why you don't speak about Juventus news? It's not true, my friend. I gave you many news. I told you that Juve will bid for Cop Miners. I told you that Juventus have an agreement with Todibo on the contract. Waiting to agree on terms with Nice is not easy because Nice want important money. Nice rejected 35 million euros from West Ham for Todibo. So let's see how much Juventus will bid. Valentin Carboni, Olympique Marseille. There are discussions ongoing between Olympique Marseille and Inter for Valentin Carboni, for sure. Then let me clarify the final two things while I'm putting something here. So let me clarify the final two things on Lenny Yoro and Nico Williams. So on Lenny Yoro, guys, what I wanted to say tonight is that the situation is still depending on the player. As I told you last week, Lenny Yoro will decide his future in the next days and will be the player deciding. The proposal from Manchester United is still on the table, is still there, is still valid, is still accepted by Lille and still pending on player side. So Lenny Yoro is taking his time to decide. The president of Lille, Olivier Letang, is insisting a lot and pushing a lot for Lenny Yoro to accept the proposal from Manchester United, because Man United are offering way more than Real Madrid, 50 million euros plus add-ons. So Lille are pushing for the player to go to Man United. The player is still taking his time with Real Madrid, his biggest dream. Lenny Yoro told his agent, George Mendes, many times in the recent months, Real Madrid, his dream, his obsession. But now, Lenny Yoro has to decide what he wants to do. So depends on the player who has to make a decision in the next days. Wait for Real Madrid or go to Man United immediately. Then on Lenny Yoro, also important to say that the negotiation with Paris Saint-Germain has gone cold. At the moment it's cold because Lenny Yoro priority is not to continue in Ligue 1, is to try a different league. With La Liga, Real Madrid, or might be Premier League with Manchester United, but Lenny Yoro prefers to try a different kind of experience. This is the situation for Lenny Yoro. Meanwhile, Manchester United keep working on the deal for Matthijs de Ligt. It's a separate story. Manchester United are still in conversation and still in negotiation for Matthijs de Ligt with Bayern. Agreement with the player in negotiation with Bayern. And then, guys, let me finish this stream by mentioning Nico Williams. Because for Nico Williams, Barcelona, starting from this week, will push to reach an agreement with Nico on personal terms. Barcelona have put all the other deals, all the other possibilities in standby because their priority is go for Nico Williams. Barca know that Premier League clubs could return, could appear again with big proposals, and so Barca want to be fast in reaching an agreement with the player. Hansi Flick, Deco, and all the people at the club are on the same page. They want to go for Nico. They had fresh contacts with his agents in the recent days too, even before the final. This week they will have new contacts, so Barca will push strong for Nico Williams to reach an agreement on the salary and on the contract structure. This is a crucial point for Barcelona, to agree with the player and then be able to proceed with the financial fair play for the release clause as soon as they will have the green light with La Liga. But the player side is crucial, and Barcelona will try to accelerate in the next days. This is the situation for Nico, situation for Leno we already said. Thank you guys, as always, and see you in the next days. Ciao.